and Shantala awardee Guru Bhanumati. She is a master's degree holder in Sanskrit with 5 gold medals and several cash awards from University of Mysore. She heads Nritya Ganga Pradarshaka Kala Kendra in Nagarbavi, Bengaluru, teaching Bharatnatyam to hundreds of students. Rupashri Madhusudan has authored books Nrityankura, Nritya Veda, Nritya Kalpa for all grades of Bharatnatyam examination in both Kannada and English languages. She has been master compere for more than 5,000 shows and an ace speaker for many TV channels, Doordarshan and AIR. She is also a veteran theatre artist who is well versed with drama and miming and a jury member of the examination panel of Bharatnatyam for more than 20 years. She has been facilitated with prestigious awards like Nritya Nipune, Kalayogi, Aryabhata International, Natya Kalanidhi, Samskritika Sarathi and many more. We are honored to have Srimati Rupashri Madhusudan as part of Sammilan, who will be presenting a lecture titled Sangeeta Sahitya Samanvaya. Welcome to you, ma'am.
Namaskara. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Na Guroradhikam. There is nothing greater than Guru. Shankara Bhagavatpada has described Guru Mahatvam as Gurorangri Padme Manaschenna Lagnam. Tatah kim, tatah kim, tatah kim, tatah kim. There is absolutely no use of any possession, however big, if mind is not adhered to the lotus feet of Guru. Seeking kind blessings of my Gurus, Dr. Kripa Phadke Madam, Shantala awardee Guru Bhanumati Madam, and all other Gurus who have inspired me to tread the path of success and enlightenment, I shall seek all their kind blessings in my prompt endeavor to deliver a lecture about classical dance and Sanskrit literature. Making a very prompt confession that I am an eternal student than a scholar, I shall try to do it promptly. India has been a prime place of cultural education since time immemorial. The knowledge treasure of India has enlightened many fortunate souls. A Sanskrit proverb exclaims, Sahitya Sangeeta Kala Vihinaha Sakshat Pashuh Puchha Vishanahinaha. A person without the knowledge of art, with special reference to music and literature, is nothing but a beast. Art is said to be the amalgamation of 3 noble qualities of our incredible India: Satyam, the truth; Shivam, the auspiciousness; and Sundaram, the beauty. The word art refers to aesthetics, knowledge, wealth, peace, and many more. The art of dance not only grants happiness but becomes a very powerful medium of social reformation, value education, and cultured lifestyle with respect and responsibility towards our rich culture and heritage. The prime intention of art is said to be realization, expansion, sanctification, and upliftment of soul. From the soul is said to be born space, wind, light, water, earth, senses, sincerity, conscience, and food. From food arises the art of courage, penance, holy chants, workmanship, worlds, and the name. Thus says Prashnopanishad, one of the holy scriptures of India. Quoting Kavikulaguru Kalidasa, Vagartha viva sampriktau Vagartha pratipattaye Jagatah Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameshwara. Lordships Shiva and Shive are amalgamated completely just as speech and their meaning. I offer my prayers at their lotus feet for the benevolence in acquiring knowledge of speech and meaning. It is indeed very interesting to note that Shiva causes Tandava and Parvati the Lasya, the very primordial principles of dancing. These two are totally blended as much as Vak and Artha that are the root elements of literature. So it is absolutely delightful to state that these two blends are the same at their ultimata. This endeavor of mine is a confluence of 2 mighty oceans, Sangeeta and Sahitya. Another Sanskrit proverb beautifully explains, Sangeetamapi Sahityam Saraswatyah Stanadvayam Ekamapata Madhuram Anyadalochanamritam. Sangeeta and Sahitya, the world of music and literature, are the 2 noble boobs of goddess Saraswati. One gives incessant, incredible flow of knowledge, and the other bestows with the Alochanamritam or elixir to the eyes. Let us look at these two terms, Sangeeta and Sahitya, in a little more detail. Samyak Geetam or refined music is said to be Geetam Vadyam cha Nrityam cha Trayam Sangeetam Uchyate. This Tauryatrika or a blend of three things, the vocal music, instrumental music and the act of dance, together termed as Sangeetam by our Alankarikas. With reference to dance, in special Abhinaya or aesthetic expression plays a vital role as the medium of communicating the emotions of bhava of the performer to the conscience of the Sahridaya or the onlooker, creating the world of aesthetic essence or rasa as technically termed to please thoroughly. The four important kinds of thus described Abhinaya are Angika, physical, Vachika, verbal, Aharya, decorative, and Satvika, benevolent. It's indeed pleasing to understand that our cosmic dancer, Lord Shiva, is the embodiment of all these four kinds of Abhinaya. The depiction of the aesthetic expressions through music, dialogues, and other fundamental elements, or the evince of one's emotion through dialogues, can be termed Vachika, the vocal aspect. Stories consisting of melody and lyrical aspects beauteously portrayed to the onlookers can be called Vachika, that is termed as music as a whole. Sage Nandikeshwara, the author of Abhinaya Darpanam, quotes, Patyanurupo Abhinayascha Karyaha. Abhinaya or enactment should be done as per lyrics, stating clear interspersing of Sangeeta and Sahitya for achieving nobility. It is indeed interesting to note from another scholar that there is also another kind of Vachika termed Mano Vachika Abhinaya. There are actually two types of Vachika Abhinaya, Kayaha and Manaha, where Mano Vachika Abhinaya, where sound does not emanate but it is swirled within the conscience. The pioneer of Indian linguistics, Maharshi Panini, the Indian grammarian, says Vachika to be a vowel consonant derivative. Panini, a grammarian of Sanskritam of 4th century BC, has mentioned about the rules to be followed by dancers during the act of dance. He has mentioned about Nata Sutras, principles of dancing by scholars by name Shilali and Krishashva. Now talking about Sanskritam. Bhasha Sumukhya Madhura Divya Girvana Bharati. The divine language Sanskritam is defined to be the most substantial, deistic and imperative language of all, from which all other languages of the world have found their roots, and these verbal aspects are the outcome of the Sanskrit linguistics, says Maharshi Panini. Sage Bharata, the profound author of Natya Shastra, the encyclopedia of art forms, in resemblance to Panini's conjuncture, has explained the framework of Vachika Abhinaya as the combination of noun, consonants, verbs, adjectives, prepositions, conjunctions, interjunctions, compound nouns, and articulation. Sage Bharata has explained Bharati Vritti pertaining to Vachika Abhinaya. Just to add to it, he has named 4 Vrittis, Arbhati, Kaishiki, Satvati, and Bharati, where Bharati Vritti stands for Vachika Abhinaya. He further explains the uses of various musical notes as per rasa or the aesthetic emotions. For evoking Shringara rasa, it is Madhyama and Panchama swaras. For Veera, it is Shadja and Rishabha. For Karuna rasa, it is Gandhara and Nishada. And Bibhatsya, it is Bhayanaka and Daivata. For Bibhatsya and Bhayanaka, it is Daivata. Proving the interrelation of Sangeeta and Sahitya thus becomes very easy and meaningful. He says, Vachika is of majorly 5 types. Pratyaksha, said as witnessed. Paroksha, said as heard. Atmastha, as told about oneself, Parastha as told about others, and Kalakrita according to the time span. The meaning of any Shabda is manifested as Artha, and in dance it is symbolic. As per Sanskrit grammar, the Artha can be of three kinds: Abhidha, Lakshana, and Vyanjana. Abhidha is the literal meaning. For example, elephant is a big animal. It means as it is that elephant is a big animal. Now coming to Lakshana. For an example, the city has moved. This means the people of the city have moved. So it is an indirect meaning that becomes important here over the direct meaning. Here the Vakyartha or the meaning of the whole sentence becomes important. Vyanjanartha, example, Purusha Simha, talks about the bravery and valor of a person, which is neither of the direct meaning, neither of Purusha nor the Simha. It is an understood meaning, neither additional meaning, which extends as per the capability and imagination and creativity in exposition, which paves way to Sanchari Abhinaya in dance. Compilation of all the above fundamental grammar points in a language, Bharata has categorized Bhasha into four types, namely Ati Bhasha, used by gods and demigods; Arya Bhasha, exercised by the kings; Jati Bhasha, used by the barbarians, the foreign extractions; and Anyantari Bhasha, used by beasts and birds. Now let us throw more light upon the interrelation of classical dance with Samskrita literature. The important avenues of Indian cultural education are the performing arts, namely dramatics, dance, and music. Kavi Kalidasa again exclaims, Natyam bhinna ruchir janasya bahudhapyekam samaradhanam Traigunyodbhavamatra lokacharitam nanarasam drishyate Natyam bhinna ruchir janasya bahudhapyekam samaradhanam. It means Natya, or the act of dance, is a great medium that entertains the audience of varied interest with both audio and visual delight. Sage Bharata in his Natya Shastra has described the art of dance as Sarva Shastrani Shilpani Karmani Vividhani Cha Asmin Natye Sametani Tasmadetanmaya Kritam. I have codified the art of dance as it is the collective essence of all holy scriptures, great deeds, and finest mastery. He further elaborates, Sarva Shastrartha Sampannam Sarva Shilpa Pravartakam Natya Vedam Tataschakre Chaturvedanga Sambhavam. Natya Veda is the bountiful blend of essence of all Shastras, all four Vedas, and causative of iconography. He says, Jagraha Pathyam Rigvedat Samabhyo Sangeetamevacha Yajurvedat Abhinayan Rasan Atharvanadapi, drawing the most important elements of the art of dance from four Vedas. Dance has got soul connection with Samskrita literature that is one of the best treasures of our incredible Bharat. Now let's look into the connection between dance and Vedas. Vedas, the knowledge treasures of Bharatam, explain the greatness of art forms. Rigveda, a collection of hymns that indulge in nature worship, explains the rise of Usha Devi, the dawn, very beautifully. Her luring beauty, her attire, her grace, all of this has been described in detail. Samaveda explains the Margi and Deshi kinds of dance and music. Yajurveda explains various ritualistic movements during certain religious customs. Atharva Veda explains about the occult songs and dances used to cure various diseases. How is dance and the Indian epics concerned and correlated? Ramayanam, the epic treasure, is a treatise in Sanskritam that explains a lot about art forms. The names of Rama's two sons, Lava and Kusha, stand as very good examples, as Kushilava in Sanskritam means a scholarly artist. Sage Valmiki has also coined the term Geya, which means lyricism. Pathye Geye cha madhuram pramanais tribhiranvitam jatibhis saptabhir baddham kavyametat agayatam. In the above verse, Pramanatraya refers to the three pitches, namely Dhruta, Madhyama and Vilambita. Jati refers to a part of Tala, and this Jati is of 18 kinds. Matanga, a scholar, explains the Saptabhihi as the 7 musical notes Sa, Ri, Ga, Ma, Pa, Dha, Ni, which are the calls of birds and animals. The word Tantri refers to Veena. Laya means the time measure and Gandharva means a singer. So, this verse explains the intricacies of music, drama and dance. Another illustration from Ramayana. When Dasharatha wants to give up the throne of Ayodhya and coronate young Rama, he orders his ministers to call Talavacharas and Ganikaha, the artist community, for a dance ensemble. Another instance. While seeking Rama, Bharata, on his way to Chitrakuta, visits the hermitage of sage Bharadwaja, where a dance performance of Apsaras and concert by Gandharvas were arranged. Rama describes the calm and serene beauty of river Pampa and the luring dance of peacocks with their splendid plumage broadly spread out. In Kishkindha Kanda of Ramayana, various musical instruments and dance in nature have been explicitly explained. Sundara Kanda of Ramayana is indeed Paramati Sundara. It explains about various artists seen during Hanuman's visit to Lanka to fetch Sita Mata. Vipanchim parigrahantya niyata nrityashalini nidravashamanupprapta sahakanteva bhamini angaharais tathaivanya komalan nrityashalini vinyasta shubha sarvange prasupta varavarnini. One damsel skilled in dance slept embracing the lyre, the veena, another as if she is sleeping with her consort, another beauty sleeping as if she is executing an angahara, a specialized movement of dance, and so on. The demon king of Lanka, Ravaneshwara, was a great patron of art. He was known for playing on Rudraveena, an instrument to which he laid his intestine as strings and played to please Lord Rudra. Another epic of our incredible Bharatam, Mahabharatam, also states many illustrations about art forms. In Aranya Parva of Mahabharatam, sage Vyasa names celestial singers like Tumburu and mentions the performances of dance and music. The Virata Parva of Mahabharatam also throws light upon fine arts. Arjuna, in disguise as Brihannala, tells the king, Gayami nrityam yathavadayami bhadrasmi nritye kushalasmi gite tvamuttarayaha paradatsvamam swayam bhavami devyaha naradeva nartakaha. I shall dance, sing, play on musical instruments. I have expertise in all of these. Let me become the teacher of your daughter Uttara, who wants to learn all these art forms. The Rajasuya Parva of Mahabharatam explains about Natya Mandiras, the dancing halls, and Prekshagriha, the auditoria, very vividly. Some scriptures of Sanskritam, especially the mythological scriptures like Harivamsha Puranam, Vishnu Puranam, Bhagavata Puranam, Brahma Vaivarta Puranam, and Medya Puranams, describe the most beautiful Rasalila of Lord Krishna with Gopikas. Shukracharya, in his Nitisara, has mentioned about the importance of dance in society. He has mentioned that a king should give prime importance to artists for the welfare of his kingdom. Buddhist scriptures also describe a lot about dances. Prime dances, Ambapali and Salavati, have been described in Buddhist scriptures. It is said in Buddhism that Natya Grihas or dancing halls are best suited for the propagation of Dharma, the religion. In Jainism also, art gains prime importance. Mahavira's life history can be understood as a dance drama. Ganikas, the dancing beauties, attract sage Rishi Shrunga to Ayodhya by their intelligent dancing skills to bring in prosperity. These are some other illustrations to prove the intersperse or the interrelation between Sanskrit and dance. Urvashi, a celestial nymph, attracted King Pururava. Menaka, another Apsara, mesmerized sage Vishwamitra. Tilottama descended down to seek an end to demons Sunda and Upasunda. The cherished poet of Indian fervor, Kaviratna Kalidasa, stands unique in quoting dance, music and dramatic aspects in his celebrated compositions. He has composed 3 dramas, Malavikagnimitram, Abhignana Shakuntalam and Vikramorvashiyam, 2 epics, namely Kumara Sambhavam and Raghuvamsham, 2 lyrical beauties, the Rutu Samharam, a treatise on 6 seasons, and Meghaduta, all of which are very rich with cultural aspects. The Nritta and Nritya aspects are vividly explained in Kalidasa's compositions. In Meghaduta, the pangs of separation experienced by Yaksha and Yakshi are described as suitable for celestial glee. The Vipralambha Shringara is very beautifully explained here. He says that the heroine Yakshi used to dance to the beats of a peacock that she heard there. The peacock that she had read would call and she would dance as per his beats. Kumara Sambhavam, another beauty by Kalidasa, is a very practical approach based on Natya Shastra. A verse of 3rd canto of Kumara Sambhavam mentions the songs of Apsaras who are enriching and beautiful, inspiring love all the time. He also mentions about Kinnaras who are celestial heavenly singers. Kalidasa explains Parvati's bashful speech to her consort Shiva. Athagrahaste mukuli kritanguli samarpayanti sphatikakshamalikaam kathanchit adres tanaya mitaksharam chiravyavasthapita vak abhashat. The hand gesture explained here. It is also notable that mudra, mudam rati iti mudra, that which pleases is a mudra. Here Parvati is beholding a mudra, fingers drawn together to resemble a bud, resembles a hasta mudra called mukula, as said in all our classical dance treatises. Kumara Sambhavam also describes Lord Shiva as the cosmic dancer. Raghuvamshan, an poet from Kalidasa, explains about 29 kings of Ikshvakukula, the Raghu dynasty. There are major instances in Raghuvamsham to describe the greatness of art, such as King Dilipa and his consort Sudakshina, on their way to worship sage Vasishtha, passing through a forest in their chariot towards the hermitage, saw peacocks dancing to the sound of wheels. Here, Shadjaswara is beautifully explained. He also mentions that King Agnimitra of Raghu dynasty was a great patron of art. He had encouraged arts of dancing and music in his royal court. Kalidasa's drama Malavikagnimitram explains about a Bharatanatyam competition between dance maestros Ganadasa and Haradatta to prove their mastery in the field of art. Abhignana Shakuntalam, another beautiful drama by Kalidasa, sketches the heroine Shakuntala as a great dancer, Shakuntala, who was beauty and grace personified. It is interesting to know that her dear was named as Dirghapanga, the long-eyed one. Kavyeshu natakam ramyam, tatra ramya Shakuntala, tatrapi cha chaturthonkaha, tatra shloka chatushtayam. The 4th canto, of which the 4 shlokas are very, very pleasing and very beautiful. Moving on to prose, another poet of Samskrita, Bharavi, in his Kiratarjuniyam, explains the beauty of Ganikas or the dancers, and he sketches the arrival of Vasanta Lakshmi or the mother spring in a splendid manner. Kavirdandi, Kavirdandi, Kavirdandi na samshayaha. It is Kavi Dandi who is extremely great in his compositions. Another scholarly composer of Sanskritam, in his Dashakumara Charitam, Dandi has explained about the social status of dancers. He quotes a dancer by name Kama Manjari, who received training in dance, music and painting from her mother. Another Sanskrit prose specialist, Bana Bhatta, in his Harsha Charitam and Kadambari, has fetched exhaustive information about art forms. Kadambari rasagnanam aharopina rochate. Even food is not as interesting as Kadambari rasagnana. It's so beautifully explained about Kadambari, which has a shlesha or a pun there. Bana Bhatta mentions the Gita Goshti, Vadya Goshti and Nritya Goshti, various conferences on music, instrumental music and dance in his literary works. He exaggerates a particular scene as a row of dust particles arising from mud looking like a vibrant masculine dance form, Tandava in action. Bana Bhatta in his Harsha Charitam mentions about 3 kinds of dancers, namely Tandavika, a male dancer, called Lasaka, Harinika, a female dancer, and Shikhandika, a gay. Balacharitam, Mritchakatikam of King Shudraka, Ratnavali, Priyadarshika, Veni Samharam, Malati Madhava, Karpura Manjari, etc. are some other Sanskrit treatises that celebrate the art of dance. Apart from these, Gita Govindam of poet Jayadeva, Sri Krishna Leela Tarangini of saint poet Sri Narayana Tirtha, operas Nauka Charitram, Prahlada Bhakti Vijayam and Sita Rama Vijayam composed by Saint Tyagaraja, one of the trinity of music, the other 2 being Muthuswami Dikshitar and Shama Shastri. These are very, very important. Shiva Pradosha Stotram, another composition of aesthetics, explains Lord Shiva's Sandhya Tandava. Kailase cha pradoshe natat tripurahare devadaityadi vandhye Pashyantyam Shailaputriam Natanamati Muda Svarvadhu Samyutaha Brahmatalam cha Venum Kalayati Maghava Maddalam Chakrapanihi Dhittam Dhittam Dhimittam Dhimi Dhimi Dhimittam Dindhimi Dindhibhiti. In the dusk, when Lord Shiva, praised by gods and demigods and even demons, he is dancing vibrantly and his consort Parvati is looking at him with gaze, with all wonderment. Lord Brahma plays on the cymbals, Lord Indra plays on the flute, Lord Vishnu plays on the percussive instrument Mridangam or the Maddalam. Another quotation, another instance, in Buddha Charitam of Ashwaghosha, technicalities of classical dance are very greatly explained. Ashwaghosha describes an eyebrow movement called Bruvanchita, resembling Kunchita eyebrow variety of Natyashastra. The 4th chapter of Buddha Charita mentions about Vismita eye glance and Padmakosha hand gesture. King Sri Harsha's Naishadha Charitam also explains the art of dance. It explains the characteristics of King Nala as a great dancer who had well proportionate Anga, Pratyanga and Upanga or various body parts as toned by classical dance. It's interesting to note that the Natalakshanam and Patra Lakshanam, the characteristics of hero and heroine, have been vividly described by Nandikeshwara in Abhinaya Darpanam. Tanvi Rupavati Shyama Pinonnata Payodhara Pragalbha Sarasa Kanta Kushalagraha Mokshayoho Chara Talalaya Bhidna Mandalastana Pandita Hastanga Sthana Nipuna Karaneshu Vilasini and etc. Interesting to note that he says Gita Vadyanusarini, everything that she can follow, Gita, Vadya, Nritya, she can be a great heroine. In the Natalakshana also he says Rupavan Madhura Bhashi Kriti Vagmi Patustatha Kulangana Sutaschaiva Shastragno Madhuraswaraha Gita Vadyadi Nrityagno Siddhakah Pratibhanavan Etadrisha Gunair Yukto Nata Ityuchate Budhaihi. A person with all these qualities, especially the qualities of art forms, music, dance, and dramatics, can be a successful hero. There are other treatises of Sanskritam describing the beauty of the art form of dance. Vatsyayana, in his Kama Sutra, has described about the hero and heroines and their physical exercises practiced by them. Kautilya, in his Arthashastra, explains about the social status of artists. He says they are the health keepers of the society. Now coming to the aspect of grammar of Sanskritam and dance. King Amarasimha, in his thesaurus Trikanda Amarakosha, has mentioned Tandavam, Natanam, Natyam, Lasyam, Nrityam cha Nartanam, Tauryatrikam, all words synonymous to dance. I have already told you about the great grammarian Panini and needless to repeat. Another beautiful instance from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in the Arjuna Vishada Yoga, the first chapter, when Arjuna finds all his relatives, his teacher, his Pitamaha, his gurus, and everybody around, he laments, "O Krishna, why this test? Why are you testing my conscience? Sedanti mama gatrani mukhancha parishishyati, vepathushcha sharire me roma harshascha jayate, gandhivam sramsate hastat tvakchaiva paridahyate, na cha shaknomyavasthatum bhramativa cha me manaha." Of course, this shloka of Bhagavad Gita explains about the lament of Arjuna, but for a keen observer of Natya or Nritya, Natya with special reference to dramatics and Nritya with the art of dance, the 8 Sattvika Bhavas, what we talk about, are all seen in one shloka. All the 8 Sattvika Bhavas have been capsulated in one shloka. The Sattvika Gunas, the Sattvika Bhavas being all these Stambha, Sweda, Romancha, Vaivarnya, Swarabhanga, Vepatu, Ashru, Pralaya have all been very beautifully explained. Sedanti mama gatrani, he is dwindling in his personality as well as the proportion of the body. Mukham cha parishishyati, he is getting decolorized. Vepathushcha sharire me, he is getting shivers and chills. Romaharshascha jayate, he is also having the horripilation. Gandhivam sramsate hastat, his mighty bow slips off his hand. Tvakchaiva paridahyate, the skin is literally burning, which is causing the exhaustive heat, which is begetting sweat. Nacha shaknomi avasthatum, I cannot bear it anymore. Bhramativa cha me manaha, which also says the wandering of the mind, and he is totally aghasted, which is describing the Sattvika Bhava of Stambha and Pralaya. All these Sattvika Bhavas have been very beautifully encapsulated in one shloka of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The correlation between Sangeeta and Sahitya, we can go on and on. It is so inexhaustive and incredible. It is ever enlivening, inspiring, and so exhaustive that we can only touch upon the cream of it, and only a prompt endeavor can be there to delve into the depth of it. But if scared of whales if scared of the whales that might eat us up, we never get to get the gems that are hidden in the Ratna Garbha or the Samudra Garbha. But beware, there is Badabanala also, the tremendous Agni in the Garbha, in the womb of Samudra or the ocean. It is just with the kind grace and blessings of the Gurus and a prompt effort that we can attempt to dive into the depths of these two enormous oceans, Sangeeta and Sahitya, to be able to speak at least a few drops of nectar of these two oceans. I would like to quote John Keats here, that he says, "A thing of beauty is a joy forever." And our Bharatiya Kala, or the art forms of incredible India, or the Navavarsha Bharata, Nava I mean to say of Kalidasa, Nava Navonmesha Shalini, It is ever and ever inspiring and ever generating, ever arising, all fresh, all new, evergreen. It is very interesting to talk about the interrelation between Samskrita and Sangeeta, or Sangeeta and Sahitya. I pray, Lord, to bestow evergreen conditions to all our artists and artist fraternity and see us through all possible pandemics and disasters and diversions. Chiram abhivardhatam bharatiya kalashrihi vardhatam abhivardhatam chiram abhivardhatam. Let their stride increase and bless all of us. Vande Guru Paramparam, Vande Bharatiya Sangeeta Sahitya Paramparam. Namaskaraha.